Good morning. Today is April 14, 2020, Tuesday. We will review character and setting, and then we will read the story, The Real Dracula. Then we will go over the questions for the story. So, before we read the story, let's start talking about setting. As we've talked about before, because this is just a review, setting is a place like a city or country. For example, Arlington, Virginia, USA. Okay, so Arlington is the city, Virginia is the state. We can include state here, and USA is the country. Or you can do common nouns, which would be house, park, school, classroom. Or you can be specific. Okay, you can also be specific. So for example, you can say Brightwood Education Campus. Okay, so you're being specific when it comes to the school. So that's the setting. Character. The four things you need to know about character is: what does the character do, what does the character say, what does the character think, and what does the character feel. So let's do a quick review on those questions by talking about the three little pigs. Okay, I'm choosing this story because almost all of you know this story. Okay, so remember, there are three pigs who are trying to build houses using different kinds of materials, and the wolf is trying to destroy the house. Okay, so the character I want to focus is the wolf. Okay, so here I'm gonna put the wolf. Okay, that's the character we want to focus on. So what does the character do? The wolf blows the houses of the three little pigs. Okay, what does the character say? He says, I will huff and puff and blow you away. Okay, so that's what he says. Now we go to what does he think. Okay, because this is what he does and this is what he says, then we know that the wolf wants to destroy the pigs' houses. Okay, we know what he is thinking because obviously no one can read your mind. How we came up with his thoughts is based on what he does and what he says. Okay, so remember that. Now, what does he feel? Okay, this one we can infer or make an educated guess. Okay, because in the story it doesn't really talk about the wolf's feelings, but we can make an inference. Okay, based on what we know, we can make an educated guess. That's what an inference is. So if the wolf is trying to blow the houses of the three little pigs and he wants to destroy the pigs' houses, okay, what do you think he feels? So we know it's a negative feeling. If you want to destroy something, we can say the wolf is angry at the three little pigs. Okay, that's a reason why he would want to blow their houses away. Okay, so that's an inference we can make. Okay, so that's how we are going to talk about character today. Okay, so when we are reading the story, The Real Dracula, you will talk about what Dracula does, says, thinks, and feels. Okay, and for the think and the feel parts, you have to make an inference or an educated guess based on what you know after we have read the story. Okay, so let me put this higher so you can see it. Okay, so The Real Dracula. You have probably heard of the fictional vampire named Dracula. Okay, so before we start, let's look at some pictures. Dracula, okay, with fangs. You see people wear this during Halloween. Romania is a part of Europe. We will read that in the story. It's near Hungary, Ukraine, Moldova, and Bulgaria. Okay, so this is Romania. It's near the water, near the Black Sea. Okay, Vlad Dracula is a person that we will read about today. They say that the fictional story of Dracula was inspired by this person. Stake. Remember, they say this is how you kill a Dracula. You just get a wood and make it sharp or pointy at the edge, okay? Fortress is basically this one, okay? It's just basically walls protecting a city or a castle. In this case, the fortress is protecting the castle. And the last one is a gorge. A gorge is just this narrow place here, okay? That's a gorge. Okay, so let's go back to the story. Did you know he may have been based on a real person? Vlad Dracula ruled in Wallachia, located in present-day Romania. During the mid-1400s, he was the second son of Vlad Dracula, who got his surname from being in the Order of the Dragon. When Vlad Dracula's father and older brother were killed, Vlad Dracula assumed leadership in Wallachia. Because the rural farming society was frequently invaded by neighboring principalities or other kingdoms, he spent his life trying to keep the Hungarian kingdom and the Ottoman Turkish Empire from taking over his homeland where he lived, okay? Homeland is where he lives. Following his death, he became known as Vlad Tips, which translates to Vlad the Impaler. Okay, so let's stop over here, okay? So, who are we talking about here? Who are we talking about here? Okay, so if you said Vlad Dracula, you are correct, okay? So Vlad Dracula is actually a real person where the fictional character Dracula actually came from, okay, or was based on this person. Now, where? Where does Vlad Dracula live? Where does Vlad Dracula live? Okay, so Vlad Dracula lives in Wallachia, which is in Romania. So my bad. It wasn't Hungary, it was Romania. If we go back to the map, oh no, I did say Romania. I'm getting old. I thought I said Hungary, but it's actually Romania, okay? So I showed you the correct map. So that's Romania. That's where Vlad Dracula is from. Okay, so what is happening during this time? So the time period or when is 1400s, okay? So what was happening in the 1400s? So if you said that Hungarian kingdom and Ottoman Turkish Empire were trying to invade or take over his homeland, you are correct. So that was what was happening at that time, okay? Okay, so let's go to the second paragraph. Vlad Dracula was known for his exceptional cruelty, which he showed to peasants, nobles, friends, and enemies alike, okay? So he was just very mean to everyone, okay? His nickname, Vlad the Impaler, came about because his favorite way to execute, another word for execute is kill, people. He executes people by painfully impaling them on stakes and placing them in public view. So after he kills them, he makes sure that people can see the dead body. Okay, so that's what public view is. Everyone can see it. It is estimated that Vlad Dracula killed between 40,000 to 10,000 people in his lifetime. Okay, so we'll stop here. Okay, what does Vlad Dracula, or what did Vlad Dracula do? What did Vlad Dracula do? Okay, so if you said he was known for killing people or executing people, you are correct. Okay, and the detail for that is they said that he killed about 40,000 to 10,000 people, and another detail is after killing them, he would let everyone see the person's dead body, okay, which is kind of disturbing. Okay, next, third paragraph. Although exact information about Vlad Dracula's homes has been lost to history, tourists still flock to the legendary fortress where it is believed he lived. One of his likely residences, Castle Poneri, is a ruin now. That means it's destroyed. Ruin means it's destroyed. It stands high on a cliff overlooking a deep gorge and is said to be haunted. Haunted means there are ghosts or spirits. Okay, visitors to the ruin must climb almost 1,500 steps to reach it. Another castle, Castle Bran, is called Dracula's Castle and is a major attraction in Romania. It has been renovated or they fixed it up several times in its 600-year history, but it still looks like something out of a fairy tale. Okay, so let's stop here. There's a lot of where. Okay, so they said that Vlad Dracula's homes or castles still exist. So what are the names of those two castles? Okay, so the first castle is Castle Ponari. It is ruined or destroyed, but people still visit this. You have to climb 1,500 steps if you want to see this castle. The other castle is Castle Bran, and this has been renovated several times, and because they fixed it, it looks like a castle out of a fairy tale. Okay, so those are two places where people have said he lived. Okay, last paragraph. In 1897, author Bram Stoker wrote a novel about a vampire named Dracula. Stoker chose the name believing it was a Romanian word for devil. Stories began to circulate that Vlad Dracula, like the fictional character Dracula, had been a vampire. From then on, the legends of the ruler grew greater and bloodier than ever before. Okay, so the question is, who wrote about Dracula? Who wrote about Dracula? So if you said his name was Bram Stoker, you are correct. Okay, so the next question is, when did Bram Stoker write about Dracula? When did Bram Stoker write about Dracula? So if you said 1897, you are correct. So during that time, people have been reading his novel and they're learning about Dracula, and you know, until now we still know this story and it is still famous. Okay, so let's quickly read the questions that you guys have to answer. The first one is, how did the story about Vlad Dracula being a vampire begin? So I help you guys with the sentence frame. You can say Vlad Dracula being a vampire began or started in. You have to give me the year. When did that happen? Because is basically, why did the writer write about him? So why did the writer write about him? Question number 2. Why was Vlad Dracula also known as Vlad the Impaler? Okay. So, he was known as Vlad the Impaler because, why did they give him this name? Why did they give him this name? That's what you have to answer. So go back to the story and find this, okay? The next video, I will talk about the other questions because I don't have enough time in this recording. So I will talk to you guys then.